So it's the end of day one of stage two of QSchool. We're carrying on the diary feature with Connor Scutt. Connor, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm great. All good, all good. Although I did have an early home time today. I think I was back in the room by sort of 3:30. So
Yes, a later start
nice,
today,
nice, a nice long rest.
but well, absolutely refreshed for tomorrow. So before we talk about the darts, I guess we just have to check on how it was getting back into the bubble. How was all of that?
Easy, a lot less stressful than last time. There's a lot less people, so it was a lot easier than last time. It didn't take as long to get my result back either, which is nice. So yeah, it was very stress free to be fair.
And a nice negative result, which is always good.
Nice negative result, which is what we want.
That's the first win, as we say.
First win. I'm yet
um,
to get my second.
yes, indeed. um, one of the questions which we've neglected to ask you so far, actually, is what's it actually? It must be a relief to actually play people again and not virtually.
It is. It is. I don't like virtual darts. I've tried, and I keep on trying. I've stopped doing the tournaments now. They're great. They're really well run, but I just can't get up for it like I do in a normal game. I can't. I don't know if it's because of me or because of my throw at home. I don't know what it is. I just play better out of the house. But I think I always have done really. I think my highest average indoors is only 100 and something. But not. But my highest average outside the house is 105 in like a proper match. So it's like, and a lot of people indoors say they hit 100 averages all the time indoors and stuff like that, but I can't do that. I never have been able to. All I do indoors is work on my throw, and that's all I do indoors. I can't play to any sort of standard really. I might get the odd day where I play half decent indoors, but there's just something about the throw I've got indoors that just isn't right. I don't know what
Can't
it is. It's weirder than that, but you just can't get comfortable on it. It's strange.
you just can't match? You just can't beat real life darts, can you? I
You
guess.
can't. You can't beat the level of concentration behind it. I'm so much more focused and concentrated and stuff like that. So when there's someone actually in front of you trying to beat you, it's very different to someone through a camera or over the internet.
Absolutely. So we come on to stage two today. So when you go into that room, you've got your 30. Let me get this right. You've got your 36 from 1A, you've got your 36 from 1B, and then you've got the remainder, of course, from all the automatic winners, and then of course the stage tours as well. And what was it like walking into that room today?
Uh, Great. The thing you find when the standard gets a little bit better is people don't stand on the practice boards all day. They don't stand there and practice, 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 practice. It's only when you go to like a challenge tour or development tour, you get a few people that just stay on the board all day and almost wear themselves out. At these sort of things, when the standard jumps up a little bit, it doesn't happen. People are sitting down having a rest and stuff like that. So it's nice for me because I normally get a practice board to myself, which I quite like.
And what,
And the
yeah.
big one.
And what I found was quite interesting, of course, was that it was being played off of just the 16 board, so even more practice boards today, presumably.
Yeah, that was kind of strange for me. It was I only had 16 balls because obviously I'm used to the standard 32. But maybe they just didn't want to have like two games on a board sort of thing. They wanted to have the normal three or four, possibly.
And do you
Well, a pro
feel,
tour it's still
yeah?
32 boards, I think.
Uh, oh, good
I'm,
question.
I'm, I'm sure when I played um, Darren, I was on board 20 something. Sure, I was.
Or we'll have to look it up, absolutely. Or someone can leave a nice comment in the chat, can't they? And do you feel that in relation to resting and try not to wear yourself out, do you feel like you've worked out a nice formula that works for you now?
Definitely, definitely. For the first, I get in there when doors open. First hour or so, I'm on the practice board doing whatever. If I decide to just warm my arm up or do some doubles or do some scoring, like all depends what sort of mood I'm in. But that's what I do when I first get there, and then I'll have a break for a little while, and I might have like the odd 10 minutes here and there. I just don't overdo it. I used to get in there, doors open like when I was a lot younger. Again, as soon as it opens, and I practiced it until I was on. I used to practice for like 2 3 hours before I'd even played a game. If you think about it, like a marathon runner, for example, he's not going to go and run 26 miles before a marathon, is he? He's not going to do that. So what would be the point of me standing there practicing for 3 hours when I'm going to have to potentially play for 4-5 hours, like broken up? There's just no common sense in that for me.
It's funny because I've done 3 marathons. I think I ran to across the field and back again. I think a couple of 100 meters away. Right, that'll do. Meanwhile, Kenyon's doing laps of the mile laps of the field. God, yeah, great times. So yeah, it is a bit. And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint, Connor.
I was waiting for you to say that. I set it up.
Hitting out of the park. So we're coming to a match today against Jamie Clark. Jamie's a very talented player. Riley's qualified UK Open last year.
I wasn't sure who it was. I'd heard the name, but it didn't really sink into me who it was, how good he was. He's obviously a very good player. If I played like that against a lot of people, I would have won quite comfortably. But against him, I couldn't do enough. I missed a few chances. I missed a chance in the first leg. I think a chance in the fourth, chance in the sixth, and I missed 101 for a check out in the last day as well, which would have broken the throw and sort of let me back in it a little bit. But yeah, it was a very strange game. I think winning the bullseye this weekend is going to be a very important factor for a lot of my games. So I'm going to have to make sure I win the ball tomorrow and give myself a bit more of a fighting chance, I think.
And that's the difference, isn't it, between stage 2 and 1? Because in stage 1, you can almost get an easier, I'll put that in inverted commas, an easier draw to get yourself into it. And then, whereas this, every game will be like a cup final.
I never had the luxury of that on any of my days. I never got the luxury of an easy draw, unfortunately. But there was definitely a lot of easy draws there. There was a lot of easy games there. But in this, standards unreal. I mean, when I was practicing before the match, you can almost just feel the standards. Like you look at some of the games next to you, how they're playing and stuff like that, and they're just playing absolutely unreal. And if you have a look at the averages on Darts Connect, I think 1A was at 77, 1B was a 76-ish, and this is up at an 85. Pro Tours are normally 90, 91, 92. So this isn't that far away from the Pro Tour standard. I think the lowest average in the room today was 72. The highest was 98, I think, which is great. So there's no more 60-odd averages floating about. It's at a very high standard at the minute, which is, I think that's great for the game. I think this QSchool is going to produce the best new tour card holders for a long time. I think. I'd guess so anyway. It'll be the best new tour card holders for a few years. It's so cutthroat. There's so many like 90 averages being hit. It's unreal. You go QSchool, like normal QSchool from a few years ago, you could get through your board averaging sort of 84, 85, and you'd be fine. But this, there's a lot of people that I know in there losing with 90 odds. A lot. That standard's ridiculous.
Yeah, there was lots in the first round along with yourself because you averaged just over 90, and there were lots of other people in the same boat averaging around the same. So that's definitely correct. And I think we're also looking at what is likely to be the format of QSchool now for the foreseeable future.
After they see how the standards increased, I think they're going to keep doing this just to whittle out the ones that are just coming to experience and stuff like that. It just feels so much more professional in there. I don't know if it's just me because it's the final stage and I qualified to get here and stuff like that, but it's I wouldn't say it feels harder. I don't really think like that, but the standard is a lot higher. It's a lot higher.
Of course, logistically as well, of course, you can't have, I mean, obviously it's COVID, but even if COVID never happened, you couldn't have had 500 people, 600 people in a room anymore, really, because that would have even gone up even more this year if had COVID not hit.
Yeah. So I probably would have been, if I didn't split into two groups, you'd probably been looking at 300 odd, 1A, 300 odd, 1B, like split over the 2 days. That's probably how they do it from now on. Like not even anything to do with COVID, but it's a lot more manageable. I mean, sometimes you walk into a venue and you might not play till sort of 1 o'clock, 1:30, and then you'd be waiting ages to get back on. You have to keep an eye on your board, see how many games you've got to go and stuff like that. But this is like you have a quick rest and you're back on. It's a lot simpler. I think it's a lot more easily managed.
Yeah, I'm pleased they did do the 16 boards, because if they did 32, it would have been over. You would have been straight back on, I think, every time.
It'd be over very quickly. To be fair, that's probably a good idea, actually.
Yeah,
the 16 boards might be to give people a bit more of a rest.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so tomorrow, slightly earlier start, 12 p.m. is when it kicks off. What's your preparation? Yeah, oh no. Should I have not have said that?
No, reminded me. I've got to set an alarm. Otherwise, I'll be asleep. I'm a heavy sleeper.
And I know your manager, Brian Weiber. Brian, hello, if you're watching. I guess he's been in contact with various, support and advice.
Yeah, he has been in contact. Yeah, he said you played well. Not a lot of people in the room would worry you with that sort of scoring. Just got to keep your head on. So I messaged him back, said it didn't feel like I played that great. It didn't at the time. It's not till you go back and have a little look. So I think I'm more than capable of having a big run, whether it's today or tomorrow. I think I've got that sort of head on me at the minute, which is good. And advice-wise, I think these main bits is just keep your head on and just keep doing what you're doing, because there's not an awful lot between what I'd class now as my sort of, at the minute I'd say I'm playing my B game maybe a little bit higher, what I have been doing, like practicing before matches and stuff like that. I can feel how well that I'm playing. So it's not much more of a big push till I get that A game out. I just need one full day where my A game comes out every time. It should be fine.
Well, Connor, we really appreciate your time as always. Time to finish on a cliche, as is tradition. For this, we might catch up tomorrow, of course, but we'll see how we go. Absolutely, yes. There are 3 days to go.
I'm hoping you don't get a chance to say there's 2 days to go.
Yes.
That would be nice.
Indeed. Well, yes, absolutely. We'll appreciate your time, and the listeners and the viewers on YouTube are certainly appreciative to have this extra insight. So
anytime, I always enjoy doing these interviews.
Great stuff. Connor, all the best tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Catch you later.